Hey folks, Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild for another Friday night live stream. But before we do that, I've got to pay some bills. So first and foremost, the Historical Fencing Guild is made possible by a delightful donation from the Independent Creator Directory. That's indcd.org, your one-stop shop for some of the best artists, authors, and creatives out there, as well as a great place to get set up and get established without being deplatformed. We're also made possible by sales of the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, part of my ongoing series of novels, of historical inspired fencing manuals to teach you the basics of Western weapon-based combat in plain, simple English, accompanied with things such as stick figures. Yes, because stick figures are representative of everyone. And most importantly, we are made possible by my incredible patrons over on the Historical Fencing Guild Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you guys can help me keep the lights on. And with that, we're going to get right into the discussion topics of this week's episode, and then we'll hit the comments. We have some things to talk about. This has been an odd week, a little disappointing. I was actually supposed to have one of my patrons, a lovely gentleman by the name of Steve Augusto, down here for a practice. However, there was some kind of mix-up on his end, and he was unable to attend, which is tragic because he wanted to discuss pole arms. Now, I have access to a couple classic pole arms, and I set up some PVC trainers to start working them through the basics. So they were set up for whenever Steve wants to come down. But while I was looking through those, I forgot I have one of my wife's. So instead of showing the trainer, I'm going to show an actual pole arm. Yes, I have one. This was given to my wife. It's a Naginata. And hold on. Yeah. It is about 6.5 feet long. This is a nice steel cutting edge. This functions much like a glaive. It has a butt cap, not a butt spike, tragically, but probably safer. In this case, a traditional Suba. This is a very nice weapon. It was given to her by John Miner of Swakhammer Metals, who I may be reaching out to. I haven't heard from him in a while. We haven't really chatted. But you'll notice that I have enough room that I can actually show you guys what this is. So we were going to do basic training in something like this. Now, pole arms, when we talk about pole arms, especially like this, remember, contrary to the love, I have to think about this. You just do it like this. There we go. That a katana has publicly. Remember, it very much is like the pistol of its period, although firearms were available to later period samurai. It's a sidearm. If you are using a katana on the battlefield, several things have gone wrong. Your bow is out of commission, out of arrows, or otherwise incapacitated. Your yari, your spear, or naginata, being a glaive, is out of commission. This is not a good place to be. This is a very last-ditch kind of weapon on the battlefield. Carried around day to day and dealing with honor duels and such, much, much nicer situation to be prospectively, because most people aren't coming at you with spears and bows in full armor. We have to keep this perspective. However, the way you would train with a naginata like that is a combination of how you train with a spear and how you would train with a concussive weapon, not unlike an axe. Most pole arms fall into that category. So it boils down to understanding how to make a staff go. And I say that because a staff is sort of the father of all weapons in my mind. Maybe it's the grandfather. It's a good way of looking at it. Because all the sword styles are built up in staff. All the spear styles are built up in staff. And then a few things only staves can do is built up in staff. So I think there are reasons. I do routinely speak of the 5 basic styles of weapon you need to understand how to make go. Because if you can understand the 5 basic styles of melee weapon, you can handle just about any object. And one of them is what's referred to in some European guides as 2-meter stick, some type of long staff. You want to know how to handle a long staff, a short staff, long staff, short staff, sword, knife, mass weapon. Because every basic melee weapon that you encounter is going to be one of these items or some combination thereof. A mass weapon is like a hammer, mace, axe, club, anything where there is weight on one end more significant than the other, used to amplify striking force. Now, there are many divergent and niche styles that fork out from understanding these base weapons and recognizing them as others. Because I put knife and sword in the same place. I really do. It gets dicey, and I'm still trying to formulate how I want to phrase it. But if you can handle and understand how do I put this? The physical requirements and strengths and weaknesses of each of these given subsections, you could basically weaponize any object of that style. Now, you'll have to understand improvised objects, and it gets different, as are throwing weapons. But most of those are either, if you think about it, it's either throwing a bladed weapon, you're throwing a roundish object. Everything is a ball/rock. Or, bladed weapon, roundish object, or spear toss. That's the only 3 basic ways you can throw something. Because despite the fact that they tumble differently, the idea of knife throwing and axe throwing are very similar. You just break up where you want your tumble to end. And a hammer toss is just not worrying too much about edge alignment and making it go, or it's round, throwing it like a rock, or a baseball. Understanding these basic ultra simplifications will allow you to, while not use a weapon right, use it functionally if you encounter it, and understand how it's used against you, which will make for better writing, better art, better for understandings. So I really want you guys to start thinking in terms of that and focus down onto it. I want to do, this is going to be part of what I call the book I don't want to write, which is my defensive manual. I had to walk away from it because it was enacting trauma. But as I get through my projects and get the new year started, I will be revisiting that. I have a large list of in-progress things I'm going to spend the next couple weeks just trying to hammer out as we get there. Now, speaking of hammering, I need to find out if Joe Bachman is in the chat. If not, I'll have to reach out to him later, because in 2 weeks we are, weather permitting, opening for the Gary Shakespeare Company at Twin Oaks Park in New Chicago at 5 p.m. local time, which I believe is Central. And the Historical Fencing Guilds will be doing probably a 15-minute demonstration. Then we're getting out of the way so that they can run the Tempest. I have to finalize some things for that, and I have been in training for months to be hopefully able to participate and not simply MC that, which means I'll have to meet up with, I'll have to discuss at least with Joe and Trey, and possibly our own Richie Asplin, whether I'll be able to do that. So we're going to talk about that. I, of course, will be answering any questions you have. I also have over here a package. I got a package, folks, which means I'll be doing an I'd say unboxing, but it's an unenveloping. And it came from our friends at, let me just not dox myself for a moment, Purple Heart Armory. So I know what should be in this package, and it relates to that. But before we get any farther into that, since I've given a good bit of intro, and I will remind you that if you go to Purple Heart Armory, use the affiliate link / !click equals 1745 at the end of woodenswords.com to it won't give you anything and it won't cost you anything, but I will get a small percentage of your purchase refunded to me for referral. So please do that. It helps the channel. I do regularly refer folks to PHA because it's a veteran-owned company out of Texas, and I do try to support American businesses whenever possible, especially since they're a much more economic alternative to South Coast Swords, being that it's not shipped over from Britain. So I have to stay hydrated. Also, guys, at least where I am, we are rocking between the high to mid 80s and low to mid 90s. It is very hot, very humid. And Sunday, the smoke comes back. So please be cautious in your exertions. Please be careful and take frequent water breaks if you're training under the sun at all. Wear a hat. Seek shade protection if at all possible. And, sunscreen. Be careful. Okay? I don't want anybody getting hurt doing what we love. Now, all that said, I'm going to hop in the chat, catch up with the wonderful patrons, and then I'll do a lovely unboxing of this, and we'll keep on trucking. Perfect. Let's see. Evening, everyone. At 7:19, Foxy came in early. How you doing, Foxy? Glad to see you. Oh, and Alec is here. Good evening, Foxy. A toasty one for sure. Thank goodness for AC. Indeed. Happy Friday, Sword Family. Happy Friday, Thesis. And how's everyone's week? Well, it's been interesting. Things didn't quite go as planned, but I got a lot of background and prep work to do some other things, and I've got a couple I've made some orders for the upcoming show, including what's in this bag. I have one other item that if it gets here, it'll be good for what we refer to as shtick, a little bit of comedy. But keep moving. Cindy kept person turquoise wave. Okay. Hi, Cindy. He's here. Yes, here and on relative time, which I think is pretty good for me. And Cindy goes in to promote. You want to find out how big stompy robots in melee with simple swords and fighting axes. Okay. Oh! One moment. They're bugging me to write a BSR book with swords. You have pleased my wife. And that's just because she knows what a Doom Kaiser is. Anyway, go get Nick's art at nickt.deviantart.com. I'm sorry, that was my ancient link. deviantart.com/nickt. They rearranged it. And yes, if you dig through that, you too can find out what a Doom Kaiser is. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Blue Teddy. Hope you're having a wonderful time. And Foxy says, food and stream. And there is the Patreon link. And please, if you want to support, go there. Evening, Teddy. Hi, Teddy. So, did Japan have the equivalent of pike cores set for horse? I believe so. I believe they did, because mounted combat was very important to the Japanese, as it was very important to the Chinese. Now, which of the 5 basic types? It would be a short stick unless it's bladed, at which point it becomes a knife. Short staff, yes, short staff. Short staff name possible. See, and check out the Historical Fencing Guild at 7 p.m. Central. That's what we're doing right now, 8 p.m. Eastern. I still can't believe I went south. I moved south and west to get on the Eastern time zone. Anyway, big grins. What category does a bag full of hard candy fall under? That would be a flail. And that's why I don't hit, because I have to add flails, but I consider flails demi-reliable. That's the same family as taking a hard object and shoving it in a tube sock. So that's the classic cue ball in a tube sock, bar of soap in a tube sock, jar in a tube sock, but those break and get real weird real fast. That's why I'm still balancing it out, because the stuff I understand is through, I hate to say practical experience, but and yes, flails. And I hate flails. Staff, grandfather. 4 pillars are in Chinese, Jin, Dao, Gun, and King. Being Jin is gentleman, Dao is general, Gun is grandfather, and King, Kang. Okay. Also, which start? Werther's, classic choice. You've got a jar of dirt? New toys. Yes, there will be some. These aren't as fun. I didn't get to buy trainers like I love to buy. But I do have a new objects, and we're going to see it. I'll do a live reaction review for you after I get through the chats. Sunday and Monday, we have a heat advisory. We're looking forward into the triple digits. Not looking forward to it. I understand. Switch to Celsius. You'll never hit triple digits. Whoo! You love it? You'd hope not, eh, Johnny Point? I love it, Johnny, but I live in America, and idiots here opposed to learning. Shame. Good luck to y'all. We need all the help we can get. We plan to only go out at night, and I don't know. I love the logic of Fahrenheit, where it's like it's meant to be roughly equal between hot and cold, where I believe it was called percentage of warm was really how they came up with it, like percentage of feeling warm between freezing. No, it's not between freezing. It's because at 32 you just have water happens to freeze, but that's how cold it is. And then the next third is the split between being warm and hot. It's interesting. A really short staff. It's a stick, but if you think of it as scream a short staff, most concussive weapons would the only difference being you have to add a knife edge to that for edge alignment strikes. But yeah, concussive weapons, that's true. 30 is hot, 20 is nice, 10 is cold, 0 is ice. Interesting way of looking at it. And measuring in the F is more variable. That's a point too. Okay. So since I caught up with everybody, 40 is home. Wow. This is my lovely package that I knew I said the word package. I tried to avoid it. You know what I mean. I am opening the top to be careful because the goods inside are a little less tolerant than the goods on the than what I normally order. Haha, I didn't even break into the inner lining. So what we have here is a pair of gloves, size XL. Cool. Also, a set of rubberized fingers. Let me try to get these guys out. I want to look at these because I know the least about them. Oh, Celsius mnemonic. Mnemonic. Yes. Okay. Interesting. I expected them to be cuts, but they are not. They are little half moon guys. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, we will see. Ooh, it's a Ziploc. Spicy. Look, and there go a whole bunch of them. They're right down by my pocket axe. A pocket axe. My Swiss Army axe. Let me see. 4. Uh-oh. That's not good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Okay, cool. So I have all 10. Now, these are a little smaller than I expected at extra large, but let's see how they fit. Uh-oh, friends. Okay. I'm going to have to break these guys in. There's that much extra in my thumb because I have short fingers, and that much extra in each finger. I'm not quite sure how these guys aren't. These may have been a waste of time because these fit much, much tighter than I expected in extra large. But let's see. Let's see. Rubberized fingers must not make dirty joke. Must not. Yep. Save it for the green room, which I can send you guys invitations if you are really interested. There we go. I thought those would be inserts for these, but they are not going to fit on the inside, so I'm going to have to figure those out. They may work better with my lacrosse gloves, though. Still, these are brand new, and they will need to be broken in before the event. Can I get my other hand in them? However, now that I have my mitts in them, these are tight. These are tight. Boy, are they nice. A lot more fine control than the other ones. Whew. Let's see. Little slick. Well, let's start with the light grade rapier, shall we? Oh, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. They are very, very smooth in the palm. They're almost too smooth in the palm. But they let you lock in quite nice. Basically, I get to wear these around for a while soon. But with my existing outfit, they should be quite schwanky. It's so cute. I've never wanted an axe before, but I kind of want one. Okay, hold on. There's that. There's that. There it is. The real test. Oh, friends. That's not bad. I am right on the line. This is awful heavy for me right now. I don't I don't know if I'll be able to use this weapon. I don't know if I'll be able to use this weapon. This may be actually still too heavy for me. It's right on the edge. It is right on the edge. I'm going to have to spend the next 2 weeks basically working up to see if I can have enough grip strength for this rapier. That's scary to me. It's actually quite terrifying because my hands are so weak these days. But I've been building for months to get where I am. It's just that supercation. I guess I'll be working on that for the next couple weeks, and we will just have to see. Because I could, if I had the right kind of foil, I could run a foil and have the metal plank. But we'll just have to see. It's close. And these gloves actually do help quite a bit, especially compared to the gloves I was fighting in. And I think I might be fighting the unbroken in gloves a bit because they are very, very, very tight for my hands. As they settle, it will... Whew. Yeah, they dug in a bit. So I am really going to have to put some stretch into these gloves to get them to be what I need. But that means just wearing them, breaking them in, easing into it. But didn't mean to highlight the axe, but yes, this is not an everyday axe. This has some serious design flaws. I think it was by Sheffield. Yeah, it's by Sheffield. It was a Christmas present. But this is actually quite sharp, I think. No, I can't quite shave with it. But sharp enough to... The problem is the axe head's glorious, but it's only held on by that little bit of metal. You see that? That's kind of weak. So this is definitely something I would probably, if I were using it, be more likely to baton the top so that you're working with the much heavier gauge of metal than trust this with a actual swing for anything but extreme short like combatives. But the backside of the axe is a pocket knife, a surprisingly decent little saw that has seen no small amount of use. A very decent little, if I could have the thumbnail to get it out, which I may not right now. One of the hazards of being me is my thumbnails get busted off a lot. There's a screwdriver in there. Let me see what I can get out. We get this part out and that part out. And I get the fish scaler and file out, and then I can get to the Phillips head. The Phillips head actually works very well. This is a neat little gizmo, and it is, it touches into my inner gnome quite a bit. It's got a little ruler on the back. I mean, very much a better than nothing, but not the kind of tool I would want to trust my life to. Giggles. Better next to the pocket axe than the nearest pocket dimension. Indeed. Even my rope dart is concussive to a degree. Absolutely. Pocket axe. Yet another thing that won't fit in women's non-existent pockets. No, which is funny because hold on. Is that it? No, that's not it. Well, wait. I'm sorry, I have to go through and see since you're talking axes. I was going to talk about my TW. Here we go. I want to say 384. Oops. Still there? Cool. This is a much better ultra lightweight pocket axe by Timberwolf. In that it only does one thing, it axes, and it does lightweight axe jobs. It's a TW384. Look at me. And it holds a marginal quantity of paracord, which you really wouldn't want to remove because then this would be a nightmarish grip. But you can actually, from experience, use one of these to do things, and that they, of course, throw very nicely. However, when we're looking at light grade axes, and this will fit decently as an axe, and I've used one of my other ones as, or is it was this one? It might be this one. Let me look. Yeah, this one's torn out. As before I found the neck knife I really liked, I wore loop through here like a neck knife when I'd go hiking because it's really marginally heavier. A light grade axe, and what's scary is these two items are only marginally different in weight. Now the Camillus axe, I'm not sure, is delightful, but it does have the flaw of having this narrow blade and rigid handle, which means you're going to be slamming into the handle anytime you use it for any real wood processing. I don't like that. That's going to beat this plastic all to heck, and that plastic is what holds the axe head on. And I quite like my axe head staying on. However, as a combative / hand-to-hand, it is very nice, very fluid, and surprisingly fast. I like this. This came with a set that was given to me by Joe and Trelena Bachman. However, were I going out into the woods and I had to grab one of my handy axes here, it would probably be, stay put, my, come on out of the package. I need to make a sheath for this, and I haven't been together for leather work. Let me put that away. My Missouri River mouse hawk, or one of the full-size hawks. But this is very light. I do need to tweak and reset this as one has to. The art of setting an axe handle is just that, an art. It takes time, and wood changes and moves as it goes. So I still, because as you can see, let me get the cross section for you. The wood, as it splits, mostly diverts off the handle and doesn't hit a very rigid side. So this is actually going to split wood probably better than that. And of course, hand weapon and as a kind of planing tool. The other nice thing is, all this cares about is that this part is wider. So what would happen if I were converting this to a hand tool, this is not a bad diameter for a walking stick. It really isn't. You don't need a lot of strength in a walking stick. I would put probably a slightly longer stick on there and possibly go like a focus, which is a Greek shepherd's axe, and use it like a walking stick, but with the axe head. I've considered making something like a cane like this too, but I'd have to have a very good sheath. There's another word for it, and I've lost it, for the axe head itself. I also have to throw this and see how well it does. That might be in a future video once I get it reestablished. But for now, I'm using the original clamshell packaging to store it and keep it, relatively safe, because I prefer most of the edged weapons available out here to be in something for safety. Even my rope dart is concussive to a degree. That's true, but your rope dart is functionally a flail, and it's very much a specialty weapon. It's not something you want to just pick up having never used to defend yourself with. Pocket axe, another thing that won't fit in women's. Yes, fits better than your old gloves. Now, see, these, interestingly enough, let's talk gloves. These may yet have a home, not in those, but in this pair of gloves. These are my old welding gloves, which honestly, it will not break my heart to have these as welding gloves again, though I wouldn't put the rubber in them for that use. But bare minimum, since I'm not sending anything back, good Lord. See, that gives a little better thumb protection. And these are what I was fighting in, and there is a huge amount of material that I'm fighting in these. So I'm really going to have to basically wear those gloves around, flex, drill in them, and break them in before the event. But they do look sexy, and looking sexy is important. I may just see if I can fit. Are these numbered? Because it seems like some are slightly larger than the others. No, there's just variants. So these may not be wasted here. They may work better in just a different pair of gloves, because these would then become my backup / loaner gloves. That's potentially not. I see in here they're going to give a little bit of protection, but I'm not sure about that. I'm just going to have to, those actually make these quite a bit nicer. So it may be a case of what I got for one set of gloves allows me to use another, which wouldn't be the first time such silliness has happened. That, or I get to use these back as my forging, fire handling gloves. But we have options. Let's see. Actually, I got distracted. I could literally swipe down with my gloves and send my gloves flying. Now that's peak fashion. Oh, the new leather squeak, indeed. Anyone else seen Rogue Nick running away from a giant boulder after stealing the pick of destiny? Sorry for my mixed metaphor, but I've had many classes in my life. Snazzy. How about using it southpaw? I can. It's my left hand is a bit stronger, but at the same time, I need to work up towards that. So that becomes the goal. And if I can't hit it for these 2 weeks, I will definitely use the plastics or, possibly a lighter trainer. I'm not sure yet. I have to talk to Joe and Trey and see what they think on the matter. A lot of it depends on the weather, because if there's any hint of rain, no way my steel's coming out. It just won't. It'd be good on that reverse grip. You'd look so. Go reverse grip on a rapier. Dear Lord, Johnny. Oh, you wound me. You wound me to my soul, sir. Good evening, folks. Just popping in for a moment before heading off to a certain green room. Well, a certain colored room. Please be sure to hit your like when you do. Everybody watching this, because we want to be able to keep this going, and I do have to fight the algorithms, because the algorithms hear words like weapon, attack, etc., and automatically bump me down, thinking that this is either promoting violence, which I am not. I'm teaching Western martial arts, or a Second Amendment gun type of channel, which this is not. This is promoting, melee basic weapons that for training purposes again, and fencing swords. So, hey Joe, is it a purple room? I think I may have heard tales of this room. Rainbow, brown with. Got a comment dump. Give me a second. Here we go. Brown with black polka dots. Yes. And for anyone who happens to be in the Northwest Indiana, catch live practice at Twin Oaks Park with of the HFG before the Gary Shakespeare Company performs The Tempest, which happens to be one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. Leopard print, pink. Yes, it's the pink room, totally. You are the last person who should be discussing the color of that room, Alec. Good Lord in heaven. The Tempest is one of my favorites. Of course, I'm a big fan of the Bard due to awesome high school teachers, so they are all favorites. Understood. Do you axe at questions? And go get the fighting axe. Yes, if we're talking axes and you want an intro to making them go, the fighting axe is a simple, easy intro to making axes go. Rough idea of types of axes, rough idea of the blows, making boffer axes, how to throw axes. It talks survey course style over all of that. Now, this all builds on the simple sword. So get yourself a copy of the simple sword and build that. That axe doesn't have much of a wedge. How does it work functionally? That is my concern. It's much more, I think, intended as a weapon-based axe rather than a working axe. Now you've given me an idea, Kitty. A small axe-shaped magic 8-ball filled with pun-style answers. Beautiful. I love that I'm promoting writing things in here. It's a terrible idea, and you should totally do it, Thesis. Looks like a hawk. I had a friend of that last name. He was called Mike. I've done fan art of Mike Hawk. I'm kind of disappointed in myself for getting that joke. Don't be. I'm proud of you. Jokes must be gotten. Excuse me. Plus, it's got a spearhead end, so it makes it even more dangerous. Well, my favorite Jackie Chan fight scenes is in Shanghai Noon, where he ties a horseshoe to a rope. If you haven't seen, look it up on YouTube. After the stream. Yes, thank you. Repurposing toys. Absolutely. If it isn't going to do what I hoped it would do. I want to see a certain group of people who are very enamored of 45-inch German Schlagers try using reverse grip. I wish John Miner were here. He actually has been known to use reverse grip on his Schlagers effectively. And maybe we'll get into that. But I'm going to have some strange days ahead because I'm going to have to walk around the house with these survival secondary. They would look great. Absolutely. With these gloves on, because they are long enough, but my fat, I don't know, dwarfy, hobbity, I don't know how you handle the fact that I have extra large hands with like one knuckle joint, shorter fingers. I am stout, deal with it. But these will have to be broken in. And it's almost painful to do it, but I guess I get to wear these for a while. Oh no. We must suffer for our fashions. That was odd. It bumped me out of my own stream for a moment. Well, John Miner is considerably taller than many of the people to whom I refer. That's true. And in no way inaccurate. I clicked on your comment and it bumped me. Wear the gloves, pop on the fedora, and just hum the Indiana Jones theme every time you walk into a room. That is not new behavior for me. It really isn't. I don't want to get sued, but I'm really tempted to have Xander bring me my hat for when I go outside. LOL. Relatable. I put aesthetics before survival every time I wear heels. Quite true. Quite true. Uh-oh, where did he go? Well, we are broadcasting. I don't know why we had that problem, but it seems to be that I'm live and here. It just junked me out of my own stream. But yes, man, this is they are actually quite nicely padded on the top. I need something to smack myself with. Relatively safely. I got this guy. Okay. I mean, I feel it. It's not comfortable, but it does take a lot of the sting out. And that's all I'm looking for. I don't want to remove sensation, or else I'd just wear armor. I want full dexterity, and I want the sensation so I know if I get poked in the hand. But these are quite quite nice. Let's see. Ooh. Heels or broken ankles waiting to happen for some people. Not all. I didn't mean to give you the jitters. No, it was a bizarre StreamYard glitcheroony. Not real sure why. But yes, I will have to really just wear and break these gloves in by wearing them constantly, basically, for the next 2 weeks, if I want them to bend and flex like they're supposed to. I may have to get some saddle soap. Oh no, I got sweat on my gloves. Let's see. Yes. Mandy said if they're leather, you can put conditioner on them and stretch them a bit. And they are leather. They aren't leather. They have that smell. Thesis says, I am over 6 foot, and when I was first looking at LK Chen swords, I was looking at Roaring Dragon. For those who don't know, it's a 40-inch blade with a total length of 4.5 feet. That's nice. I mean, for me, that's a great sword. That's a very nice. Yeah, that is the end of a two-handed sword, right into greatsword territory for my short butt. If you've got to break your ankles, might as well look good doing it. That's a point too. I'm not Nick. I'm not kink shaming, but you're trying to keep things PG. I am, and one of these days I'll set up a chat just for the Patreon types who want to be involved, and we'll do an open air chat, and I'll do it as a secret link where the public can't find it too easily. But and Blue Teddy is amused. I'm glad. These will look very nice with my gear, though. The trick is I have to figure out what kind of pants to wear. I know what shirt I'm wearing, and I have my belt. I'm not sure what kind of pants. They will likely be relatively short because it's going to be hot. And I have to check the weather and keep appraised. I'm not sure if smacking your hand with a stick is the best way to improve your grip strength. But pain is a motivator. No, I had to feel the impact, and I was using very calibrated blows. So it was just a notch heavier than what I would consider an appropriate blow. Very akin to what Mandy hit with me with last time we were sparring, and it came up on video. Go back and watch that video if you guys missed it. Let's see. We've got new comments. I look like a penguin waddling about in heels. Well, walking in heels is an art form, and there are some videos that can help you get better at it if that's something you really aspire to do. One of the best sources is to reference gentlemen who dress in drag because they had to learn how to do it, and they usually are larger proportioned people. So you ask people who know what they're doing about. And let's see. Kitty giggles. I'm glad Kitty's having a good time. Well, let's see. Shame if it was synthetic, you could do the hot water trick. That's true, but pleather? Really, Johnny? Pleather? Even I have standards. I'm gonna go for the night. Night, folks. Good good night, Alec. I hope you have a good night. I'll see you when I see you. Have a good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. I don't know why it keeps doing that. The other thing I don't have The only thing I don't have is leather gloves. I use them for things. Hush, Thesis. With my tendons, I don't think I dare with heels. You don't need heels. I used to be able to do it years ago, but now I don't dare. Uh-oh, this time Blue Teddy scared StreamYard away. Yeah, I don't know why that keeps happening, folks. It just keeps blinking me out all the way back. You're very scary. If you want to be, but normally you're adorable. I hope I haven't done anything to offend. That being said, yeah, this is a good cuff length. We want to talk about cuff fit. I can fit the fabric of my shirt under here. It should retain the fabric pretty well, but it will not be likely to draw blades into it. Too big a cuff, and you can snag on things. So the cuff is great. They're as all gloves are on me. They're just a touch long, and they're just a bit narrow. I am girthier than these gloves are made to account for, and it's interesting. But that being said, they're very nice, and they are starting to break in as I mess with them. It's just going to take some work. Let's see. The mercurial cleats made everyone love synthetic boots. Cristiano Ronaldo and others needed hot water to break them in, though. I love synthetics all the same. Oh, no, I understand. There are old layers to jokes. Plus, I have to be very careful because I react to certain plastics and things like that horrifically. It's why I can't wear a silicone wedding ring. I can't wear a gold wedding ring anymore because my lovely wife caught me with a chisel balanced in my mouth using a hammer to reflatten the ring that had been squashed down so that I could get it off to reduce the swelling and not have to go to the ER. And I was forbidden to wear wedding rings after that. Cindy. Aha! There's a little tiny button says DPI on the side of my mouse. I've never used it before in all the years I've used this mouse. But apparently bumping that with the extra width of the glove is bouncing me out of my own stream. Let's see. I had a pleather purse. I wish it was real sometimes. Same, Cindy. I like my joints where they should be. I understand that. Kitty, I had a full leather leotard made for one of my dance performances. It was hot and sweaty. I have worn full leather. It is rather not in leotard form. I was borrowing my wife's heavy armor, braided leather. Get it out of your mind. Get your minds out of the gutter. But yes, leather armor gets hot and sweaty. But what happens behind vinyl or fake leather for something like that is nightmarish. Ooh. I'm a klutz with or without heels. So it doesn't change much for me. I understand that. Still, if you're going to go leather, go kangaroo. Well, that complicates things quite a bit. But now I know what's going on and how I'm getting bounced off my own streams. That's probably how I've done it in the past. It may be a PEBCAC error. Being problem exists between keyboard and chair, but with work and wearing them and then taking them off and stretching my fingers back out, it should break in a couple weeks. It's just going to take some extra effort out of me, which we know is a thing. We just sell all the leather our food provides us, and that's not an unreasonable assessment either, Johnny. The Crow with Brandon Lee made me want a leather duster. Then the Dresden Files made me want it more. I can understand that. Kangaroo leather is as soft as it gets. I've heard it's illegal in some wuss state of y'all's country, though. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't like killing things unnecessarily, but I do believe if you're going to kill something, you should use as much of it as possible. So it's an interesting debate because there's still leather. I am a leather worker. It's been a while. I mean, I made this very simple sheath rig, which actually should work. Now I'm curious. How, dear friend? Oh, we have a Vinna chicken dinner. That's not bad. Once I fix this problem with the tape, that is not bad at all for the use of that. And that will hang light, but stay put. This is a simple frog I made. I'll be happy to make up a basic pattern. I made it out of a scrap, so it kind of was tailored to fit what I had. But that works rather well. I like the feeling that things are coming together. I've got some leather laying around that I plan on using to make my Han bow sheath. Excellent. A leatherworking is fun. It's simple. I will tell you a way to do it a lot cheaper. Wax thread can be extremely expensive, but as long as you don't mind a mild mint smell, the waxed floss that you get in big old rolls works just as well, and I've done many really unique leather goods with it. As my hands improve, I do have leather projects waiting around. In fact, I will be doing a minor leather working project possibly next week, because if I'm going to do the Historical Fencing Guild show and I'm thinking of using steel, I may just do a live stream where I'm not quite as attentive, because I'll be doing the cleanup on that rapier, if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing. So I used to make Juno. No, it would be so thick enough though. And sometimes you have to double up with the floss, but it works really, really well. I've made some basic armoring bits. I don't have any of them handy. I have this habit of giving gear away, and I need more leather, so I'll have to go look to see what I have in my leftover leather stockpile, because I want to make my Adventurer's bracer, which looks in part a lot like that thing that was used on the Dungeons and Dragons movie. But we are almost to the end of my hour with you guys, and I do need to drink. I've not drunk nearly enough this stream. You still got most of that roll, don't you, Thesis? Oh, you're getting busted out. I may just go on, chat. Spill the tea, please. I really need to win the lottery so that I can make adjustments to people's lives. Thrift stores are great places to buy leather, as are old couches that people throw away alongside the road. I may or may not have skinned a couple couches in my time for their leather for projects that people needed, especially if it's not armor grade leather, but simply light work leather. Yay for more. Actually, yeah, I do. It's a pretty big roll, and I've only made 4 journals. Excellent. Buy old leather jackets that aren't and such that aren't worth wearing, but the leather can be reused. Anything you can reuse, make do, build new things with, do so. I really encourage that. However, with that, guys, I am going to call it because I really do need to down a lot of this. I'm quite warm. So thank you for coming out. We will have another lovely show in exactly 1 week. Stay cool out there, guys. If you have questions or comments, please, the Historical Fencing Guild public group is available on Facebook. Hop in there and drop your questions, or get a hold of me out there or through Twitter at ntalkert, or about Nicholas Talkert on indiecd.org. There are a lot of ways to get a hold of me, and we'll try to help each other get through stuff. And there may be more crafting in the future. It's just a lot of it depends on what I'm doing and what my hands will let me do. Let's see. Have a lovely evening. Thanks for the stream. Okay, have a good evening. Go get Nick's books, amazon.com/store/Nicholas Anthony Talkert, the second author. All that's my Amazon store. Please go there. Every bit of sale helps. And if you become a Patreon member, the tiers, I have to rework them. But one thing you get is basically you tell me I want a video on this, and I will do everything in my power to make videos on it. I live to serve the community. Now, thus far, my Patreon folks, the patrons, have been amazing about, they want the stuff out here where people can see it, where it's doing good, where I can do more books, where I can find out what people need to do and help folks. And we have helped folks. I've been recently contacted by someone that the techniques discussed here has helped with issues on self-harm and suicide prevention. And if I can do something positive for one person, one life, it's worth all the effort I'm doing. But I do have to go. So you guys, let's go break it down. Do your drills. Keep your guard up. Be kind to yourself and each other. And as always, friends, thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. I will see you all next week. Have a great night.